like 1 minute.
Showtime.
Well, it's okay. We can go a minute early because it takes them a little bit to get on.
Okay.
So we'd like to welcome you to. Usually, your wife is the first one on.
Yeah.
And then my phone just told me that Fabric Chicks has just gone live. So I'm gonna find it so I can read comments. All right, girls. So see, we've got 3 people: Mary Menz, Fran Harris, Carolyn Gavinich. Hi, girls. Okay, so we have Peggy's husband Richard is doing our videoing today. Roger's taking another day off. I think this is like his 3rd day in a row.
Oh, Roger. Watch out.
So we would.
You know what?
Mary Min says she's looking forward to some new tricks, girls. New tricks.
I was gonna hold it.
So we have Penni Barger from Ripon.
Hi, Penny.
And you've met Penny and Peggy before. And then we have Peggy Cato here from Modesto. And if I ever say anything wrong, correct me, girls. It's not going to offend me to correct me. So we've got several different tips and tricks. Penny, do you want to start so that you can be?
Sure.
Do you guys want to say? How about if you tell us how you met?
Who?
You two. How did you meet?
We met at a retreat.
Oh,
in
yeah, at a
Healdsburg.
retreat. That's right.
And where?
In Healdsburg.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Linda says, hi, Peggy and Richard. So Linda is your sister?
Linda Hoagner?
Yeah.
Yes, my sister-in-law.
Well, she's your sister-in-law, but not his sister. Whose sister is she? She's married to
my
your brother.
brothers.
Okay.
The one
You know, girls, I have to get all the connections so I know who I'm talking to. So hi, Linda. Welcome. Hi, Kimmy. So Kimmy is watching also, and Kimmy is Peggy's daughter.
No,
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
She's Penny's
Yes, she
daughter.
is. Penny's daughter. Penny.
But
Well, I
I played
pointed to
her.
Penny, so you guys have to. Sometimes my head works faster than my mouth. So
That's hard to imagine, but
she said, "Hi, Mom and John. Hi, Peggy and Richard." Sharon Ayers watching. She said, "Hi, Penny and Peggy." Anna's watching. Hi, Anna. Hi, Deborah. So we've got quite a few of you joining us to watch. So we've got Double Trouble is what I call these two. The Penny and Peggy show. I think we should make it a regular occurrence, but we'll see. We might have to zoom in at their houses again. So Penny is going to demo the 2-hour panel.
Oh.
Right?
well,
What are you
we're
gonna-
gonna do the 2-minute quilt first.
Okay.
And then the 2-hour quilt.
Okay, so the 2-minute quilt, for
The
those of you
2-minute
like
quilt.
Mary Beatty that have a hard time getting things finished,
You didn't say my name.
or Nan, who spent 4 days putting on a binding on a table runner. So Penny, take it away.
Okay.
True word sometimes.
Beth has this wonderful panel to use, and I'm going to use every bit of it. Okay.
So this is a fun panel from Fran Designs, Stephanie Brandenburg, and we'll be interviewing her one of these days very soon.
And they're all different sizes and shapes that you can cut out. So, having said that, my husband John made little quilt racks. And we have a little baby quilt rack. And I made a little quilt for the little baby quilt rack, like the big one I made. But I thought up another idea for a 2-minute quilt. So you cut out the panel that you like. You put your fusing on the back. You peel your fusing off. I know, I'm trying to do this in 2 minutes, too.
And the pressure of the whole world watching.
I know.
You just don't even know who's watching.
That's right.
So
You peel it off.
So she used Steam-A-Seam too, but you can, of course, use your favorite fusible.
And then I took a piece of tape. Okay. And I put it on there, like that. I come over to the ironing board, and I press it.
And you got to do a little jig while you're pressing.
With flair. With flair. And then I come back over here, and my quilt's done.
Oh my gosh, she's got a finished quilt.
In 2 minutes, and it goes on the lt rack.
So there you go, the 2-minute quilt.
quilt. Fastest quilt in history.
Yes. Woo woo! Way to go.
had originally made me this for my dolls. And I liked it so much.
So the quilt rack, a mini quilt rack for your dolls. Because
Right.
if you follow us on Fabric Chick Stitch Along, we've posted several of Penny's original dolls that she's done. And she's in the process of writing a book to go along with her doll characters.
Yeah. Whenever that gets done. But still. And anyhow, so he made this and I liked it so much that I thought, you know, I want to display. I don't always want to spend 3 days on a quilt. And I
Or
thought,
3 months, Mary
3
Lee.
months.
Or 3 years.
Or 3 years.
So, and I had these panels at home, so I decided to make a quilt. He made a bigger one, and I changed out every month. So I thought I'd show you how to make a 2-hour quilt.
Okay, so this is a real quilt using a panel and adding some borders that fits perfectly on these quilt racks, which we will have for sale at the end of this program.
There's nothing like these on the market, by the way.
No.
They'll sell metal ones, but you'll never see wood ones. So the first thing I did was I cut out a panel. Okay? Then,
Carolyn, I'll answer your question in a minute.
yeah, and then I took black in this instance. I like to take a darker color, and I like to put a border around my little panel. And how I do my first border, and sometimes I'll make it a 1/2 inch, and sometimes I'll make it a 1/4 inch border. And they can be easily warped out of shape.
Yes, the thinner your inner border is, the
Yes.
more out of shape it's going to be.
So I take, like I would a binding, and I cut a 2-inch piece of fabric. I folded it in half, and I pressed it. Then I go to my sewing machine, and I sew it on like you would a border, but it's double thick, and I press it over like this, and then I sew the next border when it's time.
So it's kind
double
of like a
thickness.
flange, except for it's not dimensional. But it's
Yeah.
the same process as the flange that we've done numerous times, but you're sewing it to both fabrics, so it's not dimensional.
Right, so does everybody understand?
So if you have any
that
questions
concept
about that,
that's
let me
watching?
know. Hang on a second, I'm going to read some comments. Norma Jean says, wow, you both live close to her. Glad to see some Cali chicks representing. Betsy says, hi all. And Mary says, Beth, I can hear you. Kimmy says, those look great, Pops. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Dorothy. Sharon says she loves the quilt racks. Great job, John. Kimmy says, do a little dance, Mom. Hi, Rosie. And Carolyn says, just fuse and no binding. Yes, Carolyn, for the 2-minute quilt, you just fuse it. You don't do any binding.
So
You
fold
could
over.
top stitch around it if you want to make it more secure, but really it's just for decoration purposes or for a doll, or so you're not really. It's
Right.
just kind of a fun little 2-minute project.
And the other thing that people have been using these for is a lot of people make those postcard quilts. You
Yes.
know, that they send each other
Yes.
with postcards.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could take the postcard and put it on there.
Perfect.
And it fits in there between the little rungs.
Yes.
Because it's got little, and you just put the postcard in between the two of them.
Perfect.
So you
Perfect.
can display your postcard quilt.
So you could use a lot of different sizes, and then you could just add trims if it's too short, or some fringe or something to customize it to whatever panel or project you have.
Yes, yes. But
Okay.
the first border, though, we're getting back to the 2-hour quilt. The first border, you want to double it because you want it to maintain its shape. Okay? And then the other borders, and I'm not going to sew around the borders and have you just watch me sew because you all can do that. But I put borders around,
Mm-hmm.
Hold it a little
coordinating
more towards
borders.
the camera. There you go.
and sew them around. So now I'm ready to quilt it. Now this first process probably took me 25 minutes at the most to sew all these borders around. Okay? So now I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to quilt this really quick. I put my free motion foot on. I
Okay.
put my tension down to between 1 and 2. I have a 70 to 80 top stitch needle on, and my feed dogs are up.
Okay, and are you using monopoly thread?
I'm using,
Okay.
yes, I'm using, I like pre-round bobbins. I have a Janome, and I have a pre-round bobbin of Superior pre-round monopoly thread. And I have, the top one is YLI, but it's a monofilament. And I always practice on a piece of scrap first.
Okay, so she's just going to demo for
make
you.
sure you can't
She's
see.
practicing some free motion stitching.
Yes.
I, on the other hand, Penny's more of a perfectionist than me. I, on the other hand, would not practice. I just jump in.
Let me see. And it works. Yay, I threaded it right. It's hard to see here, and my eyesight's not the greatest.
No, the shield kind of distorts things.
Okay. So now, I did miss a step. If I'm gonna do this, I don't like using pins. So I use KK 2000. And and all I do is, if I can get the top off, is spray it.
So if you need some of the spray, we do have it on order. We should have it next week or so.
There, it's sprayed. I'm happy. I got them all connected. They're all together. They're not
So you can see
gonna
that's a
come apart.
fine science sandwiching her quilt.
Yes, yes. So now, what I want to do is, I want to make this look three-dimensional, and so I'm going to start with this middle bird. I'm just going to put my foot down, and I'm just going to outline the bird, and that's going to be my quilting. And then around the birds, I'm just going to do a little meandering, very simple. The nice part about using monopoly to quilt with, you don't have to match up anything. And if you don't do anything perfect, no one's going to notice. And that's what I like about it. And I'm just going to quickly quilt all this. So you see me quilting it, so maybe while I'm quilting this, Peggy can give some of her tips.
Okay, so she's going to quilt that entire quilt. So if you want to see more of her quilting, you can. Otherwise, we're going to comment if you want to see more close-ups. Zach says, hi, Nana. Hi, Papa John. Penny, pretty nails. Fun. Okay, so Peggy's going to give us some tips and tricks on handwork.
Handwork and some machine work. So Penny likes the spray when she does her sandwiching, and for smaller projects, I like this Bonache, and it's a powder, and Beth does have that here at the store, and maybe she'll put it on for Friday sale. I don't, or the next
Not this Friday, but we're not having a sale the next 2 Fridays, but the 3rd Friday we'll put the Bonache on sale. But if you want it, we can put it in your bag to go out this week if you have a bag still here.
And I like
$16.
And I like the Bonache because on the spray, you get the fumes. It's better to do it outside. I prefer it outside. And also you have overspray. With the Bonache, it's powder. So you very little. You don't need a whole lot of it. And a little bottle will go a long way. And also for directions, you can, there's a place where you can go in and watch it exactly an example, tutorial on how to do it. But you just sprinkle it on, and then you just iron it, and it makes it stick. And it's really wonderful. It's very fast, very easy, and it's great for smaller projects.
So it's heat activated.
It's heat activated, and you don't have all the fumes coming at you. Okay, so I'm a big embroiderer, and
Hand embroiderer, not machine embroiderer.
not machine. And when I trace my patterns, I use my friction pin, and I know a lot of people don't like them. They say because you know, the color may come back or whatever. I hand embroider, and I'm going to go right over that line anyway. You're not going to see it.
Well, and it's only going to come back if you put it in your freezer. So if you
Right.
feel the need to put your project in the freezer, your lines might come back.
And if you live in a hot place and you leave your patterns in the car and you get up to the room when you're babysitting your granddaughter, so you got a project for the weekend and you go, oh crap, it all disappeared.
Oh.
I put it in the freezer for 15 minutes, it came back and the weekend was saved.
Oh.
But
Brilliant.
I always use a tone-on-tone material for my embroidery. And because I like it a little bit more stable, I buy, it's called Pelham 101, and it's fusible on one side, very, very light material. I always iron this on the back of my fabric, and then I do my tracing. And when I do my tracing, my secret that I do, which I think is really great, is when you go to trace your pattern, most people tape the pattern on their light box. I don't do that because some of the patterns are bigger than my light box, and then trying to mix everything up together, and if you turn the wrong way and shift it, it's like, oh crap, I can't mix it back up again. So I take my pattern, I literally take my pattern with the face side down, and I tape it, blue tape it, right onto the back of my material, right on top of the Pelham 101. And then when I go to my light box, I can move my material all around. If it's bigger than the light box, it's no biggie deal. I just move it over and then I can trace it. So that really is my best tip on how to trace a pattern down. And then now when I get ready to start my embroidery, I don't know about you, but I always have whatever finger I put my symbol on, I'm going to use the other finger. Doesn't matter. I change it to the other finger, I'm going to use another one. If I put two, I'm going to find a third finger to use. So I found this tip where someone had mentioned it on one of the other embroidery sites that I found. And what she uses, and it works wonders. You can get it at Target, Walmart, whatever. It's called liquid bandage. Get the generic generic brand, and whatever finger you get all your little pricks on, even when you hand sew.
Or when you're hand quilting, your fingers will look like hamburger meat.
Yes. You just take a little, it's all liquid, it's a little brush. You just put it on the tip of your finger, and once it dries, put another coat on, and then when you're sewing, then you're only going to go into the liquid bandage. You'll never prick your finger. And it'll last all day long. At the end of the day, you just peel it off, and tomorrow you can do a whole new one on. So I love my liquid bandage. Okay, now when I get ready to sew with my embroidery thread, you know how sometimes if you have a long piece, sometimes it twists and sometimes it tangles and sometimes it knots. And if you look at it, different types of threads that you use, because I use all different kinds, it will have lint on it. Well, it's called magic thread. And if you, Beth, can get some here at the store if you'd like some.
Yeah, we'll order it. I have a rep coming in on Friday, so we'll order some of that.
It's called magic thread. And once you thread your needle, you'll see these little grooves in here. You can see mine is well used.
You pull the thread through there?
You just pull the thread right on through, and it's like a silicone.
Oh.
And so it doesn't make beeswax that a lot of people use. It breaks up. It puts a wax coat on your thread, where this doesn't. It makes it very silky, and it glides right on through. In fact, now they have little squares that you can put right onto your sewing machine, that you can run it through the thread. After the thread, you can run it right through that and run it so that you can run it, and it'll go right through your needle very, very easily. So that's the magic thread. Okay, so when I do when I do any kind of, to where I have to bag or whatever, and I have to turn it inside out.
This is the great
What I like to do.
This is the best tip.
This is a great
What
tip.
I like to do, and I did this in black thread so that you can see it. So you can come up close. Most people will start here and backstitch here and come all the way around and backstitch here. But if you start from the edge and go up and backstitch 1/4 of an inch up this way, and then go all the way around and come and backstitch here, so you've got your two little things here. So when you turn this, So when you turn this inside out,
Can you put the thread magic on your sewing machine thread?
yes, some of the new ones, packages that they have, it's a little bitty tiny square thing that fits right where it is, and you can just, it's got a little sticky on the bottom of it, so you just stick it right on the machine and it just feeds right through.
So would that really help those of us that use like the 12 weight threads, the thicker threads? Would that help
Well,
with that?
I use 12 weight thread for my hand embroidery all the time.
Yeah.
And it
Okay.
keeps the lint, and it just makes it slide and glide so much easier.
Perfect.
Okay, so then now that you have this turned inside out, see where my opening is? If I just pull it like that, it automatically pulls the material together, and then you can just sew your seam there. So you don't have to fight it, you don't have to try to iron it down,
Yeah.
it just automatically
That is a
closes-
great tip, Peggy
closes
Cato.
right
Okay,
in.
just leave a little bit so that
And that's the way I do those all of the time now. Okay, and my other one is when you're doing half square triangles, I just did a great big carpenter square quilt for my husband with Texas Tech material, and I was doing a ton of half square triangles. And then I did a baby quilt with a ton of half square triangles, and then when you get into the smaller half square triangles, you know, sometimes when you go, you do your lines and you double your lines, so you do 1/4 inch on each side. And then when you go to sew, you use your pins. Sometimes they get in the way, then you have to take your pins off. And somehow when I get to this side, if I'm sewing up this way, you know, it always shifts. The material, I always seem to have that shift of the material. Then I have it like that. And then I have to make sure I square everything off perfectly. One of the tips that I had seen on another show, she uses the fabric glue pen, the stick fabric glue, and Beth sells the Swing Line brand, and she also sells the Roxanne glue stick. You can take a little dab of glue on each one of the corners, tap it down, and then you don't need any pins when you're sewing. You sew all the way down, and each one of the squares are perfect when you open them up, and they lay out perfectly flat. I'm telling you, I did a whole quilt and didn't have to redo any of the half square triangles. It's wonderful. On the great big quilt, now Beth sells these, and these are great for the little squares. I'm going to give you a real cheap cheater.
Well, she's heard me say too many times that I'm cheap.
Well, I'm in the club too. So when I did the big half square triangles at school time, before school time, they sell all the school supplies. And then like right after the kids have gone back to school, they put them on half price and stuff. I bought, it has to be the washable glue stick. It's purple, but I put it on white material, it disappears. This is really cheap.
Dollar store.
And as you can tell, this stick is almost gone because I used almost a whole stick on the quilt that I made for my husband. Just do a little tap on the corners and it sticks. And it washes right out afterwards, so don't even worry about it. And it just makes it hold in place. I do all 4 corners. And then you don't need your pins at all because everything is down, and it works wonders. Okay. Now Linda Patterson and I, we made these project bags, and this is a nylon mesh, and we were in Utah, I think. And we could find the plastic nylon mesh over at Joann's that we could find it. But we had to sew this zipper on here. And I was kind of like, you know, trying to pin this to this nylon mesh so that I could do it. And then I remembered a tip that I had seen on one of Beth's shows. And it was was it Linda McGehee?
Linda McGehee, yeah,
Linda McGehee had advertised this tape,
from Gee's Designs.
and it is the zipper tape. And I cut off a little strip of it. All it is you put this tape on the one side, and then after you get it all lined up on here, then you pull off this strip and tape it to the side of your material, and then it sticks to it. And then you can sew it, and you don't need any pins, and they don't get in your way with the zipper or anything else. I will never sew another zipper without the tape. I'm telling you.
What's the tape called?
I don't know.
We'll
ask Linda McGehee.
Yeah, I had taken it out of the paper thing, so and it doesn't say
I
it
know
on here.
Sela makes a double-sided sticky tape, but I'm not sure what brand this
But
is.
it,
But I'll
it's
ask Linda.
double-sided
Zipper.
1/4-inch tape,
Yeah,
washable tape. So
it
this,
washes out.
yeah, this is
Oh,
washable.
So it's not the Sela.
No, this is washable.
Okay, so it's a temporary hold.
It's a temporary
Okay.
hold,
Okay.
and it made it so easy to put it on this bag, and because there's nowhere to pin it to on the nylon
Hey
mesh.
Peggy, could you use that washable Elmer's glue too?
I don't think it would
Yes.
hold it as
It
strong.
doesn't. This is. Then you have to wait till it dries, and this is just zip it
Zip, yeah.
and put
On
it
and
down.
off.
On and off. It is the
Okay.
easiest thing. Like I said, I will never do another zipper without using that tape.
Oh, let me move this tripod out of your way.
Okay. Beth does sell, and if you've watched the shows before, you've seen me order these a couple of times. I like the John James embroidery needles. I like them, and they are sharp. The eye of it is wide enough that I can get my stuff through. I go on a lot of trips, and on the trips, we take the train, and we go cruising and do a lot of hand embroidery or a lot of hand sewing. And these are in a nice little case. I can thread them, and this is what I prefer. And they're a good price here at Best. So I do get a lot of these. And John James does a lot of other needles. They do the embroidery needles, chenille needles, sharp needles, and I take a little marker and put an E on the front of them because they're all color coded, but I can't remember all the color coding. So I just put a little E on the front of this for my embroidery, and I use those all the time.
Okay, so Carolyn both said they think it's called Magic Tape. It works great. And then Easy Steam 2 makes it also. So we'll have to look into that, girls.
I just know it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't know what it is, but we know you need
We
it.
love it.
And Beth with the Bonash has the little instructional things too with it, so you guys, when you order that, that'll work.
Right, and we do have, I have the gal who manufactures it. She's going to be doing one of our interviews, so she'll be going through their whole product line coming soon.
Hold,
As
please.
soon as I call her.
Oh dear.
Make an appointment.
Yes, yes.
The 12th of never.
Yeah.
That sells this Iron Clean by Bonash.
Yep, if you get sticky stuff on your iron, that will take it right off.
We sold that on Friday.
Yes, we did. But in
Yeah.
case they didn't get it in their basket, because I know Penny's working with some fusible, and so my iron's probably going to be clean by the time she's done.
Yes. Just a few other tips that you guys really know every single time is, and I have to keep reminding myself of it, and when I was sewing this project for Richard, I turned around and said, I don't know what's wrong with my sewing machine. It keeps thumping. And somebody goes, change your needle. And I changed my needle, and away went all the problems. So just remember, every time you start a new project, if you've done a large project, change your needle. Beth sells every kind of needle that you need.
Yes, and if I don't, I'll get it for you.
So change your needles with every project, because it will solve a lot of your tension problems. It will solve a lot of, if you hear, if when you're sewing, all of a sudden you're hearing a sound when you're sewing instead of it just whizzing, change your needle, it's dull. You probably hit one of the needles like, the pins like I hit all the time. Cause you know you're not supposed to sew over your needles. Yeah, guilty.
Your pins.
Yeah, your pins. I'm guilty.
I'm guilty as charged too.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Penny and then we'll come back with some more tips momentarily. Okay, so I've got Peggy, if you go real close, Penny is quilting up the rest of it. It's not a zigzag stitch, it's just a free motion meander, Marilyn. I think, let me go back to your, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna wanna know, does the washable glue stick go with your
Okay.
No.
And
Alright, I finished quilting it, and maybe Rich could come up closer.
Because I
to
put
see.
such a small dab on it.
Okay. And then,
You see that?
do you have are
Yeah.
there bindings?
Okay, and you don't see anything on the back. The back looks nice and clean, alright? And so now I'm gonna sew the binding on after I cut the excess off around it. I'll square up the quilt. So I will cut the excess binding off.
Here, do you want me to get whatever's under there?
Pardon?
You want me to get this out before you cut, so you
Yeah.
don't cut? Let me, I know
I got
Penny,
everything
I know
right up.
Penny, you
It's
gotta
like
like clean
being
up,
at
because
home.
she'll just cut whatever's in her way.
There you go. So I am
She's
just
very
cutting
much my
off-
soul sister, we're both bulls in a china shop.
So I'm just cutting this off.
Okay, can you remember, Penny, where did we meet?
We met actually at the Alaskan Air. You were the supervisor.
At the Alaskan Airlines in Oakland?
Yes, and
That's
you had
where
a
we met.
funny uniform on.
Well, yeah, Alaska Airlines is known for their funny
In San
uniforms.
Jose.
In Oakland.
In Oakland Airport, that's it.
That's where we met?
No.
Is that where we met? No.
No.
Did you make that up,
No,
Penny?
we met.
Oh my
actually
God, I'm
met.
sure we did not meet there.
No,
You
we
had a
met
funny
in-
And I was
uniform
wearing
on
a
though.
nice uniform.
It was funny.
Hey, I caught my husband in that uniform.
Woo.
Okay, so where did we
You
meet?
know, we all like a man or a woman in a uniform.
No,
do
where
like-
we
yes.
met was, I used to babysit her when she lived in Haywood, and she was such a brat. Oh my God. So we won't talk about it anymore.
That's another pennyism.
Yeah. I think Penny's like got Alzheimer's or something. Like,
No,
I
we
think she's
met.
getting
we
me
really-
confused with somebody
we really
else.
met at PIQF.
at PIQF, how many years ago?
13.
Third?
PIQF.
14?
Yeah,
13?
probably. At Pacific
Seriously.
International Quilt Festival. It's
Yeah.
a big quilt festival held on the
Yes.
West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
14 years ago, you think?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
maybe.
is your first year.
My first, yeah, okay.
Anyway, this is what it looks like trimmed down. This is going to be my binding. So I'm going to sew on my binding. And maybe, do you have any more tips?
Wait a
Yeah.
second, I'm gonna read,
I mean-
wait, hang on a second, I'm gonna read some of these.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have needles for hand binding? What's your favorite needle for hand binding?
Oh, that's pink.
Whatever needle you can thread
For hand embroidery?
for hand binding.
Oh, hand binding.
Mhm.
Okay.
A sharp needle.
A sharp needle. Yeah, and I tend to like the long John James long darners because they're real fine, but they're longer.
Yeah, I like
So
John
they're
James
easier, if you've got arthritis, they're easier to hold on to.
Yes.
Okay, and then, oh, thank you, Mary. She says I'm still cute, even if I was wearing a funky uniform. And Easy is made by Pellon. And, Lynn needs iron clean. Okay, I'll put it in your box. And Kimmy says you're having problems cutting because she's not here to cut for you.
That's right.
That's a true story.
That
That's a
is
true
true.
story.
Yes.
Penny doesn't know how to use the rotary cutter because her daughter does all her cutting for her.
Oh, that was the problem.
Kimmy does some of my cutting for me.
Oh, Kimmy, they all love you. They keep you around because you've got sharp cutting skills. Okay. Kimmy says, looks great, Mom. And Penny, do you do feed dogs up or down?
Up.
Up. So she's like me. She likes her feed dogs up because you have more control.
Yes.
And then, Kimmy says that you met me at Zephyr Point
Oh.
when you were
At the
there
retreat?
for the
No, I
retreat.
already knew you.
She already knew me, Kimmy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she already knew me. Hi, Judy.
I met you at Zephyr
Hi,
Point.
Phyllis. You did?
Yeah.
So
No, I think it was at a
I
quilt
think it was at a quilt show too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just gonna say, for years, I've always said that these girls stalk me. They're like my stalkers. They, like, if you look on Facebook, in a lot of my memories, they'll be in pictures. And even Peggy was telling us a story yesterday on how she was in Utah and she could hear my voice across the room and knew I was there, so she had to come get her picture with me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Kimmy says, and so the stories begin. And Mary says, thank God for daughter's memories to keep you on track.
That's right. That's right. And you know, I taught my daughter how to quilt. And let me tell you, she's an excellent quilter. But the funny part about it is, I forget how to do things now, and she teaches me back what I taught her.
Oh, good. So what goes around comes around. I guess I should be nicer to Gracie. Kimmy met me at Zephyr Point when you guys were sitting in that back row at the retreat center. I remember, double trouble. And Penny was still working as a nurse back then.
Yes, I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you show them how to flip that corner back to do the mitered corners on the binding?
Oh, you want me to show you?
Yep, when you get to the next corner,
Okay.
because they always forget that little trick on how to throw it back.
Yeah. And you know, one
Anne's
of the
going to
nice-
get up close because she needs a one-on-one lesson.
Okay.
Each time.
Every time.
You know,
Maybe 4
you know,
times in
you're
one
in
day.
business.
It does. It
This
does.
is what's so
4 times.
great
Go,
about.
she's going to get there.
This is what's so. See, I'm coming to, and I stop about, and I'm guessing
Quarter an
now,
inch.
about a quarter of an inch.
Okay.
I stop, I turn, and I stitch to the corner.
Oh, okay.
Then I take it off, and I cut it. This is Beth's sewing machine. She's got it rigged up.
I do.
Really good.
I jerry rig everything because I'm too cheap to buy new ones.
And then I take it, and then you see I sewed up the little things, so I know it's going to go perfect.
Wait,
And
go
hold
back
it
to that.
straight.
You have to go do this first step.
First step
You
is,
yeah,
okay, and I sewed
Yep.
up to there.
yeah.
Then I push that up, see? and
So
it
you
goes
have
up.
a sharp diagonal.
Yep, and then you push it down.
Bring
and
it
make
down
sure it's
straight.
straight.
And then
hold
you
it.
start in quarter of an
And
inch.
then you start in at a quarter of an inch.
Well, it looks easy each time until I get there
You-
on my
Once
own.
you get doing it, it'll come easy.
Yeah.
And then you sew it that, and we'll be coming to another corner. This is the nice part about these little quilts, is because almost everything you need to know basically in quilting you can do on this little quilt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you learn your quarter-inch seams, you learn how to sew things on, you know how to square up, you learn how to quilt. So you learn a lot of different, okay, so now I'm going to stop at my quarter-inch, which is, actually I went too far, I think. Let me go backwards if I can find it on this machine. Let me just go back here. There. And then I will turn it up here and sew up to the corner. And I'll cut it.
Why didn't you give her the machine with the automatic cutter?
It's not set up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay.
Rondi and Carolyn, you girls are already in our club. Our secret Fabric Chicks club that
Yeah,
anybody
go
can
on
join.
like that.
If you
Not
hang
a
out
perfect
long
order,
enough, you'll
because
just be a
I-
part of the
That's
family.
all right.
But
Got it.
then I'll sew
Judy,
this.
I'm gonna send you a link because I think tonight is I'm
Buyer
pretty sure
corner.
tonight
Yeah.
is the Zoom
Yeah.
for
And
the
then I'll
Lorraine
probably,
Turner. I think at 4 o'clock Pacific time.
stop here and connect it.
So as soon as these
Okay.
girls get on the road, then I can catch up on all the things I was
Yeah.
supposed to be doing for the last few days.
And then I'm going to,
So you're going to couple them.
yeah, I'm gonna go like we did yesterday. But I'll go, but I'm gonna cheat and I'm just gonna hook them together because this is such a little quilt, okay?
Mhm.
So I'll cut this to about 1/4 of an inch. Where's the scissors? Where's the scissors? I'll just
So
connect this.
honestly, binding, for most people, you just don't do it enough, on a regular basis, enough to remember it.
Yeah.
If you're like me, like Saturday night, I had such a fun, wild, crazy night on Saturday. I did 3
I never
customer
have to do it like
bindings.
this, but just
So I
wanna
get
do it
practice,
to-
so I remember, but
to
for most of you, you don't finish quilts enough to remember, so it's always good to
have a
have
visual.
a reminder on how to do the binding.
See, I've got to move it out a little bit there, so I can sew it together. Maybe if I can get my fingers in there to,
Hi, Sue.
there we go.
Oh, Mary Beatty, that is very true. You can only join our club if you're not too serious.
Really?
Cause if you
Really?
can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Right. Ooh.
Well, I could laugh at Nan too.
I'm doing the machine, I'm pressing the machine before I even get to it. Whoa. I'm doing this pretty,
Christy Lee, you bring them to me and I'll do the binding for you.
I just sewed them together. I don't know how it's going, I'm going so fast.
Hi, Connie.
There.
Perfect.
Okay, she says talk louder, Penny. She can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, okay, I'm so used to talking to myself. Okay, all right, I just connected the binding together, all right? And your machine likes to go by itself. It's
It's a
almost
little
like,
bit possessed.
it is.
Halloween.
All of my machines are a little bit
It's
possessed.
amazing. This machine goes fast. It's a little.
Oh, you can slow it down if you
No,
want.
I know, but
I just like to, I
not.
sew like I drive.
and these scissors are the
So get
dullest
out of the way.
scissors. Okay, so then
Yeah.
now I'm going to show you how to do your binding and not have to go back and sew it. Okay? This is going to be.
Great. Are you
all
going
right.
over here?
I am going to.
So
look
Kimmy
for-
says if you do a half inch
good
from
pair of
end
scissors.
to end where they overlap and it's just a half inch, then sew a 1/4 inch and it will all match up.
Okay, I'm going to cut the corners off so they're not real bulky. Okay.
Okay, so this is, she's getting very close to
I'm
where.
sorry. I'm so used to being at home.
no,
I
no,
just
no.
let everything
Are you
go on
kidding
the
me?
floor.
Obviously, you've never looked around.
And
Yeah,
then my daughter
I don't-
cleans it for me.
I don't think she's looked around to see how nice and tidy
See?
this room is.
So now I'm coming back over to the ironing board.
Anna will get it.
Anna, where are you to keep these girls in check?
Come on, Anna.
So you want to press your binding flat, like so. This
How's
you're
the
not
floor
going to
look?
believe this.
Looks
I
good.
mean, it even hasn't been 2 hours yet either, right?
Nope.
Well, we hope you're not going to go 2 hours. We got
No.
some people want to eat lunch around here.
But just telling people they can take up to 2 hours to make this, but they don't need to.
So what I'm really
Okay.
excited about is she's going to show
Now
us
I'm going to show
the
you my
no
trick.
sew,
No hands.
no hand stitching,
Right.
Right.
This
unique
is-
stitch,
this is
and
the
this
unique
should
stitch.
be
This is
here
what I
any day.
use. Okay, and let me tell you, I'm going to show you on this quilt. I don't have to sew it again. If I was making a big quilt, I would go back and sew over it. But that's the next step. I'll show you.
Okay.
So,
Oh, it's a product. Here we go.
I
Mary B says tidy is way overrated.
I take my. Can you get this? Okay. I
Yeah.
take this and I press it. I press this. Okay. I press it down. Then I take this. You see the stitching line right here?
Uh-huh.
Take this and I just squeeze it on top of here like this. It dries clear, so if you smudge it, it's not going to really show. Then I take it and I put it over and I pat it down like this. I get glue on my fingers all the time, but that's okay. See, I'm just patting it down. Then I take the iron and press over it so it's nice and flat. Okay? This will dry nice and clear. I got one side done. See?
I'm with you.
All right. Then I do the same thing on this side. Like so. Okay. Oh, I need a pair of scissors to get rid of that. Thank you.
This is kind of like I'm helping you in surgery.
You are.
I'm helping you in surgery,
are.
Penny.
You are. You're giving me all the right
I'm a surgical
instruments.
sewer nurse.
That's right. There you go. Then and I'm doing this pretty sloppy. And I'm doing it sloppy on purpose so everybody can know that you can do it sloppy, so you don't freak out if you.
Let me see this stuff
Careful,
again.
don't burn yourself.
Unique stitch.
Unique stitch.
Sewing with a tube. Fast drying adhesive.
Now, if this was a big quilt and I was going to, I'm not going to just leave the glue on there and wash it. I want to be able to wash this. When I make a quilt, I want to be able to throw it in the laundry and not worry about it. So I would do this all the way around my quilt, and then I would go to my sewing machine and I would have monopoly, invisible thread in my bobbin, like when I quilt, okay? And your bobbin thread is going to be the thread that's going to show on the front of your quilt. But it's invisible, so you're not going to see it. And then I would match up the thread to the binding, and then I would sew right in like 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then my binding's on there perfect.
Kimmy says, pick up the iron, Mom. It doesn't work like yours at home.
I
You're
know.
gonna burn it. No,
I
it's got
know.
the diaper on it, doesn't. The diaper will make it so it doesn't burn.
Oh,
But,
good.
It's a Bonash product.
Uh-huh.
I call it the iron diaper, Kimmy, but it has a real name. When the Bonash gal, when we interview her, she'll tell us how amazing it is and why you need it.
Yeah.
Is there glue on your iron? Is that?
No.
Oh,
No, it disappears.
okay.
Okay. So that.
Disappears, Rhonda.
Okay. So now the quilt is quilted. Ta-da, ta-da!
Oh my gosh, look
It's
how
all
fast that
quilted.
binding went on.
Hold it still.
No.
Hold it still.
Okay, but now we need to put a hanging sleeve. So we're going to make a hanging sleeve in 1.5 minutes.
Oh my God, a hanging sleeve.
A hanging
In a
sleeve.
minute and a half.
A
Start the
quilt is not
timer.
Yes.
complete until you
So,
have a hanging
excuse
sleeve.
me.
Excuse me, I'll get out
I
of here.
had it right here. So I cut a 4.5 inch strip of fabric, okay, and I put it the width of my, see, I folded it in a 1/2 inch on either side, and now I am going to fold in another 1/2 inch on top of that 1/2 inch. And
Phyllis
that's
says you'll hate her, but she uses school glue, I think a glue stick, then turns to the front and stitches in the ditch.
That's okay too.
So
That- you can do
everybody
that.
has their favorite techniques, but unless you're shown or told about the different techniques, you don't know what to experiment with. So
That's
we
right.
always love to hear how you guys do it.
That's right. So now I'm going to stitch these down, these edges down really quick.
Marilyn says, beautiful quilt, Penny. Hey Marilyn,
thank
how are
you.
you?
Huh? I'm just going to stitch this down on either side, like that. Now I'll go to the other side and stitch that down. I'm trying to make sure you guys can do this in 2 hours. And what's so nice is,
2 hours or less.
or less, and what's so nice is, you can make each one and you learn all these different techniques. And if you're teaching anybody how to sew, it's the perfect project for them to do because you'll be successful at it. They'll feel good about it and they're going to want to sew more. So now I take this, cut the strings off. My sewing machine cuts them automatically, so I have to stop and do this.
That's a cheap machine, okay? We can't afford much
Spoiled.
here at Fabric Chicks.
Oh, poor fabric chip.
You can only spend your money once. Spend it wisely.
Really? So then I take this and I put it wrong side together. Okay? Wrong side, opposite of what you usually do. Sew it wrong side together and sew it down with your 1/4 inch seam. like so. Okay, now my sleeve is made, so I'm going to go back to the ironing board really quickly. Whoop, sorry about that. This is a great idea.
Not to make you nervous or anything, but your daughter says 30 seconds.
And then I take it, and I take the sleeve like so.
Oh, you
Okay,
open it
I'm
out.
opening it up like this, all right? See the seams in the middle, on the back, okay? I'm gonna go like this, open it up, and I'm gonna press it down, like so, okay? There's my sleeve. Now I gotta put the sleeve on. I hate to sew by hand, so I don't do that. So I go to my little quilt, go to the top of it,
On the
here's
back.
your sleeve, but first you're going to, I'm going to say, oh, I think I'll put it right here. It's perfectly, what a great size, it matches. And I love the back. You can't see any bad stitching. Isn't that nice? Because people, if you have it on your stairway or by, people can see the back
Both
of your
sides,
quilt, and you want
yeah.
it to look nice. And the back of your quilt sometimes is just as important. To me, it's just as important. So then I take my no-sew glue, and I glue around the edges of this whole thing. Just like that. Sometimes I go like this just to make sure. That's it. This glue holds. You can actually wash with
So
this
you can
glue.
hem your pants with this glue.
Oh, yeah.
I hemmed, well, I didn't, but Cheryl hemmed Devin's pants for the 8th grade formal. Some of those cheap polyester pants from Penni's was the only ones we could buy that fit him, and she bow nashed the hems. So
It's on.
look at that.
It is
A hang-
on now.
Okay,
And
hang
this
it on the
will
quilt. Let's
hold.
see what it looks like on the
Let's
quilt
put it on the
frame.
quilt.
Here.
Okay, and
you want a
Linda
new one of
Todd,
these?
I think you just logged on.
Actually,
We actually have
That might not be
a
a bad
order for
idea.
you, but we
Put
need
them
you to
side
call
by
us
side.
with your information, your shipping address and all that good stuff. So if you could call us 775-267-0204, 775-267-0204, then
now
we can
you
get that
just
shipped
put
to
it
you.
in the quilt.
And
Except I'm in an awkward spot.
Mary Beatty, yes, we can keep Penny and Peggy. You can't get rid of them. They've been stalking me for 14 years.
You
And
cannot get rid of us,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Can't get
we're
rid of
stuck
us.
with them.
Yeah.
Christy
Yeah.
gets Unique Stitch, and we have some that should be here by Friday, so it can go in your
Ta-da!
guys' baskets.
Done in less than 2 hours. And you can, and
Nan, put on your mask.
Turn it around
and
so we
then
can
you
see the
can
back.
turn.
I was drinking
And this is
water.
what the
Thank you,
back looks like.
Rondi, cool it. I'm
You gotta talk
drinking.
into that.
So
I
you can
talk
be
into
proud
this
of the
for
back as well. And that's it.
Rondi, I can't wear my mask when I'm
I
drinking
should.
water.
You should really wait about a half an hour before you hang it to make sure your glue's dry.
Okay, so wait
for
till your glue
purposes.
dries. And then Kimmy says you do go through a lot of glue.
Oh, because I use glue.
Okay, so then put show them the other miniature quilt. So girls, we've
Okay,
put
you can
together
have
a
a miniature.
little
There's one
vignette
over
for
there.
you.
Peggy,
So
a little
that
one.
Can you
you
hand me a little quilt?
could put the bigger stand and the mini stand next to each other in your entryway or something.
Here's one.
So what
wanna
we've
do it that
got
way.
is a special.
And here's another one.
Okay,
See?
Christy, I'll put you down. So we've got a special for the. We only have 8 sets, so we put together 8 kits. That includes the larger quilt panel, quilt rack, the smaller quilt rack, the panel. Show them the panel that you just made, the sample that you just made. So you
Oh,
get
this
this
one.
entire panel.
Yeah, and this is the panel, and I've cut it up, and we even made a little. We used every bit of the panel.
So little name tags. It's a cute little panel. And today,
All different
the
sizes.
whole, and it will include your batting, your binding, everything to do the 2 little miniature quilts.
Does it include the glue?
does not include the glue, but I can add glue to your order. But it's $69.95 today, and then if there's any left after today, then they'll be $79. So let us know if you want a set. We have 8 of them, and I think I want 2. So really, there's 6 of them.
And there's nothing like them on the market. I
No.
will tell you that. We research. They have metal ones, but they don't have, or iron ones, but they don't have
Yes.
wooden ones.
And then Nan, can you also hold up next to you? There's the tree panel that a lot of you guys have bought, the smaller one. Hold that up so that this gives you an idea. Hold it up next to the quilt frame.
So there it is.
So if you wanted to change out your quilt every week, every month,
Seasonal or
every
whatever.
season,
Yeah.
the panel, you can hold the big panel up now because you're my good,
This one
yes. So we have the panel just because we love to overfill you girls with ideas. So we have the big panel in case you want to bedazzle it or thread paint it. You can cut it and then you can change it every month.
Yeah.
So that it's super cute. The quilt frames are really just adorable. I love them.
And these are seasonal panels.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Every month I make a quilt every month of a house. You know, like a Halloween house, a Christmas
Whatever
house.
the occasion.
And I switch it out. I have 2 of them.
How
2 of these
cute.
quilt racks. And my husband did mine to match the wood in our house, which is dark cherry.
Oh, perfect.
So he can do
Perfect.
that if somebody wanted to order one. But,
So you can match your wood.
yeah, so it goes with the rest of your house.
So that's the stain on there that matches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but what I like about this, and I'm going to have them make me a few for some of my friends who don't quilt, is I'm
You
gonna
mean
give
your
them a
friends
quilt-
in Gardnerville?
I'm going to give them a quilt rack with a little quilt on it,
Oh,
and then every month make them a new quilt. So it'll be like the gift, the quilt
that keeps
the
on
gift,
giving.
The gift that keeps on giving.
How
That's
wonderful.
Right. And if you have, for example, you could do so many things. If somebody has a baby, for example, you could give them the quilt rack and take a newborn picture of the baby, print it out on fabric, put a little border, and then when the baby's 2 months old, or do it every 3 months, put a new picture of the baby and make a little quilt and put it
Cute.
on.
Super cute.
So you can do a lot of things with these little racks.
Well, and then you also had said that you had made a quilt. You had made a quilt and you'd taken a picture of it and you printed it on the photo fabric and then made it into one of those quick little 2-minute quilts.
Right, I did that with my
Mhm.
house quilt, my 365 house quilt, for a whole year. In
So-
the front, yeah.
So perfect.
this guy's hired.
I know, I'm hiring him. Do you want to?
Hired.
Can you guys move to Minden or Gardnerville and you
Yeah.
can be
Sure.
our
Or
videographer?
even Carson.
He's
Absolutely.
like, no. Mm-mm.
No, you don't want to leave Modesto?
You can talk Peggy into leaving her grandkids.
Oh, that
Oh.
might be the hard part.
That's
yes.
the hard part.
That's the
I'm
bell.
not going anywhere.
The
I can't
Velcro
breathe
part.
up here. I'm staying
No,
where I am.
I'm not even for grandkids. I know, not even for fabric chips.
Any more quick tips?
Okay, let's see. Do we
I
have
just have a few more.
Okay, let's hear your quick tips.
Great
Two-
job, Penny.
Thank
2
you.
minutes.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, I was showing this to Nan yesterday, and Beth can get some of this stuff. I don't know if you are 1/4 inch challenged as I am, but I am definitely 1/4 inch challenged. And no matter how I set up my machine, and then I go to another machine, or I go to a retreat, and I'm using their machine, my 1/4 inch just throws me off every time. And if I have it up here marked, what about the rest of it when I'm holding it down here trying to feed it in? I found this tape. It's diagonally seamed tape, and it's sticky tape, and it shows the 1/4 inch, or you can go the 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, and you just take this tape and you can put it all the way across, all the way down to the bottom down here. And there's a mark right here where you can make sure your needle is in it, so you know where the 1/4 inch seam is. And you don't have to worry about changing when you go to change your bobbin, because you could. I just took my fingernail and went right through the tape where the bobbin casing thing is, so it just slides off. So it's always there, and I can take this with me to no matter what class I go to. I absolutely love that tape. Another quick thing that's just a reminder, a lot of people ask, do you pre-wash material? Don't you pre-wash material? I do not pre-wash material. The only exception that I have on that is if I'm buying hand-dyed batiks or hand-dyed fabrics. Those ones, they will bleed, so just wash them in the color combination you have with some color catcher, and then you can have to iron them and put them like you normally do. But for general rule, I do not wash my fabric. And I was watching some different tips the other day. So you know how when we thread our needles, some of the machines have needle threaders. Mine has a needle threader, but I just can't use it. I don't know why. I'm challenged with it. So you always lick your thread and then try to stick it through the needle. Well, I seen this tip and I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. So instead of wetting your thread, she just licked her finger and went on the back of the needle, so the back of the needle was moist, and the thread goes right for that, and it goes right on through, and I got it through the first time. That was
wet the back of the needle?
You wet the back of, the back of the sewing needle, and it just goes right on through. It was the greatest thing ever. One thing I like to do is when I go on retreats, or even when I'm at home and I'm planning what quilt I'm going to make. Like I told you, I made the carpenter star for my husband, and trying to figure out what size the squares would be. So you find this stuff on Pinterest where you have the pattern, and it's like, oh, cool. I got the pattern, or I can go off of it. But what size are the squares? What's it's gonna make? What size are my? So I buy these notebooks over at Walmart during school time. It's the little composition books, but it's a graphed one, and I literally draw it out, so I know if I need a 5-inch square, 10-inch square, 6-inch square, 8-inch square to make it what size of quilt I want, plus my borders. And then I go ahead and I make color coded in here, so I know how many whites I need, how many reds I need, how many blacks I need, and it makes it so much easier because I like to be, when I go to quilt, I like it to be organized to where everything's ready for me. I pre-cut everything, and then I can just sew right through it. So I love this, and some of the shows that I've watched on TV, they've had different patterns, and I figure out I can't lick through the mask. So, but I color code some of these, and I draw them out, and figure out what I'm gonna do. It's just really helps me. And I have all of my notes and everything in one little book. I take it with me on all my classes, all my retreats. And when Beth gives notes, I write them in there so everything's in one place. Well, I hope my little tips helped a lot. If not, oh
No,
well.
they loved them.
Yeah.
Peggy, they loved them. Like, they are commenting like crazy about them.
Can I add to one of her tips about the needle?
Yeah.
About licking the finger with the needle? It really works because I've done it, but what's really the plus about it is I also cut my finger all the time, and then I get blood on my thing, and I've already got my saliva to wipe it off. It's really great.
Okay, girls, do you have any more? I use Quiltography. Love that app, says your daughter.
Yes, she
Yes.
does.
What is it?
It's a free app. She gets it. Kimmy, tell her how to get the free app.
Okay, so
Is it in the Play Store?
So I'm gonna do, Kimmy, I'm gonna set up a time where we can interview you and you can tell us all about quiltography, because I don't know I've never even heard of it before.
Yes, Kimmy loaded it on my iPad. It's wonderful.
Have you played with it? What is it?
I've tried to play with it. Yeah.
It's easy.
It's easy.
What do you do
And
with the app?
You can she creates her own patterns from it.
Right. And it's so easy. And I went and bought that Easy 8, that big quilt program.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Yeah, that was like $300 or $400. I
This
bought that too, and I
program
never
does
used
perfect.
it. Yeah, I bought that too.
For
You're-
free.
For free.
Okay, so it's in the App Store. So go to Quilt QUILTOGRAPHY. Go to the App Store, download it, and play with it, girls. Okay, and then Phyllis says she uses Elmer's white school glue, works like any other white sewing base and doesn't get clogged up.
Yeah.
Use it for binding, sew binding on right side, turn to the back, press and glue. Turn back to the front edge and stitch in the ditch to catch the back.
Yep.
Yep, I use Elmer's, but it has to be the school washable glue, and I use that all the time too.
And the only thing I'd like to add to what she said is I put monofilament in my bob, and that way if I happen to go off and it doesn't get in the ditch, it won't show on the front of the quilt.
Right. So we do have Penny's gonna do another Zoom class. Not now. I'm sending her home with fabric and supplies, and she's going to make up the quilt to do the class for the sewing with the invisible thread, the invisible applique that she demoed not too long ago. So she's going to take that home, work on it, and then we'll get a class scheduled for that.
I also do hand applique to where I do the starch and turn, and we used to use the Roxanne glue and glue it on when we went to hand sew it, but I use the school glue on that too.
Okay. So, and with anything, you're going to find different products, and you just have to find which product you like the best. Like, I love Steam a Seam too, but there's other people that like Heat and Bond Light, or
I like Steam a Seam too because it can move.
Right, that's why I love it, but some people don't like that. So you just have to try that. There's so many products out there on the market. You have to try what works for you, because we all have different personalities. We all, like, I can't use soft fuse as a fusible because it just is too fragile and it disintegrates on me because I'm rough.
Well, the paper one that you had on sale last time?
Easy Bond Light or something that runs through the printer.
And it comes in the paper size. Okay, I do a lot of wool applique. So what I do on the wool applique is, before I was taking the freezer paper sheets, but I'm going to start using that because it has the fusible on it.
Yeah.
And what I do is I run that paper through my copy machine, and it so I don't have to trace my patterns for my wool things.
Right.
And it traces it here onto the paper, and then when with the Steam a Seam or the
Heat and Bond Light,
I can just go ahead and cut out around it, put it on my wool, and then iron it on, and then I can just.
So it takes away one of the steps.
It takes away, and then I can cut out my wool and put it on, and that way I don't have to glue it on or anything. It makes it really easy.
Right.
So I run it all through, so I don't have to do it on
And we do have, for those of you, I think Diana Hensley, we have the Zoom class tonight for the cats. And then we do have Applique Club tomorrow, so I think Peggy's going to be on there. So if you have any questions about any of these hand sewing techniques, Peggy will be on the Applique Club Zoom tomorrow. I have the page of everybody who did it last month. So if you didn't do the Applique Zoom last month and you want me to add you to it, it is tomorrow, which is Thursday, 1 to 3:30. So just type in the comments that you want to be added to the Zoom for Applique tomorrow. You can do hand applique or machine applique, whatever, and whatever project you want.
Or you can embroider, which I
Yes, yeah, or you can embroider. We don't really care what you do, honestly. Just show up.
It's fun.
Show up.
It is a lot of fun, and a lot of news, and a lot of really helpful tips from all the ladies.
Yes. Yeah. And we will be kind of, Barbara wants us to do we've talked about this for probably, I don't know, a year, with the Sue Spargo stitch book. So we're going to be demoing some stitches tomorrow, some different unique stitches tomorrow. So let us know if you want that Zoom. And Penny does have handwritten directions that will go into your kits for everybody that bought the quilt frames. So we've got that. Any questions, girls?
This is $1 million session.
I know. I should charge you girls for this. Well, Marilyn says, thank you, ladies. Great session. Thank you, ladies, for all the tips. Love the little quilts and the quilt racks. Thank you. I'm a beginner. The tips help so much. I will be watching this over and over. Thank you, ladies. That's how come sometimes we have like 6,000 people watched our live, but really it was just like Beverly Ann and Nan rewatching because they couldn't remember what they were supposed to do. Dan, whoa, Dan, Mom is cleaning up already. She's like, we're done.
She's ready to go.
No, Beth has so much beautiful fabric here. I gotta make
want to
this
shop?
Yeah, she's got to still shop. I bought a binder attachment for my machine, had an extra large king quilt, over 500 inches of binding, and it was done in 45 minutes. I'll never go back to the way I've been doing binding in the past. Oh, okay, Diana, we're going to have to maybe pick your brain on that, because 45 minutes is a pretty good time for that. Oops, I just was talking about Barbara, and she just logged in. Hey, Barbara, Zoom class tonight, yes. We're doing the cat, the Lorraine Turner cat, because the only way I'll get my sample done for the shop is if you girls bug me. Okay, we'll add you, we'll demo the, yes, I can, Marilyn, is that the ladder stitch for doll making? I will demo it tomorrow, I think, because I have to find a needle and thread. Do you have some of the wool for the applique? Yes, we have wool. I might try to come tomorrow and work on the lead. Okay, perfect. Thanks for the session. Got some good ideas. Can't come to the store, no car. Me too. But wait, ooh, I can't. Oh, I don't know. It just popped up. I'll have to go back and reread these. Great class. Love the demo. Thanks so much, ladies. Thank you. Learn something every day. You all have fun, unique personalities. It's awesome. Thank you, ladies. You are so inspiring. Okay, girls. We will see you tomorrow at the Zoom. Otherwise, join us Friday at noon. We have Trish Lyle from E.E. Shank coming, and she's going to be demoing the sashers, a fabric rug, and coloring with pencils and crab apple hill patterns. So that should be exciting on Friday. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow and Friday. And
Over
tonight.
and out.
Always. You're just always in my life.
That's a wrap.
Ubiquitous.
Bye.